CEO Annie discovered that the top-ranked guy on her classmate's wedding list looked exactly like her husband. After confirming it was her husband John, she instantly recalled how he watched live streams every night before bed. At the time, she'd assumed he was investing in the entertainment industry, so she never questioned the company's large expenditures. It wasn't until she received the wedding invitation from her classmate Amy, the female influencer, that she realized the top-ranked guy marrying her was actually her own husband. But her husband adored her so deeply, could it just be a striking resemblance? She promptly replied to her classmate, confirming her attendance at the wedding tomorrow. Meanwhile, her husband, supposedly on a business trip, had returned to the office. Now she even suspected he'd never left on the trip at all, that he'd been helping his classmate prepare for the wedding instead. He'd even feigned longing, claiming he couldn't bear a single day apart from her. Hearing those words again, she felt a wave of disgust wash over her. Her husband also promised he'd be home tomorrow to celebrate their 3rd anniversary. She desperately wanted to see if he'd actually stay home tomorrow. If he did, then the man marrying her classmate wasn't her husband. If he made excuses to be out, then he was likely that top-ranked guy. Sure enough, early the next morning, she arrived at her classmate's wedding with a dozen bodyguards. If her husband had truly betrayed her, she vowed to turn the wedding into a bloodbath. She instructed the bodyguards to wait outside, ready to act at her command. The guards complied and stood by. Back in school, she'd been a penniless girl. Now, upon arriving at the wedding, her scheming classmate Amy mocked her for looking cheap. Little did Amy know that Anne was now the unattainable CEO of N Group and didn't reveal her identity, for his mission today was to confirm the groom's identity. But Mia grew increasingly animated, boasting that her top-ranked patron tipped her hundreds of thousands daily. She loudly declared her husband was the CEO of Annie Group, verifiable across all platforms. Amy's words only deepened his suspicion that this top patron was indeed his husband, for not long ago, he had appointed his husband as vice president of Xingming Group. Could her husband truly have betrayed her? At that moment, Amy had their wedding poster brought forward and introduced it before everyone, urging them to look closely. The man in the poster was her husband. The instant Anne saw the photo, images of her husband flashed through her mind. Furious, she demanded, "Is that your husband?" Classmates nearby jeered. "No, it's not Amy's husband. Could it be Anne's husband?" Amidst the mocking laughter, she recalled her husband, the man who had loved only her in this lifetime, betraying her. Filled with rage, he tore the wedding poster in half right then and there. How could Amy tolerate this? Even the other classmates believed he had deliberately ruined someone else's wedding. Instantly, Amy thought he might be jealous of her marrying into wealth. She claimed she remembered and getting married too. Why didn't she bring her husband along for them to meet? And said she didn't need to be told. She was about to call him anyway, so they could all meet together. But the moment her husband answered the call, he lied about an urgent matter at work and said he might not make it to their wedding anniversary tonight. At that moment, John still didn't know his wife and Amy were classmates. Amy then mocked Anne, pointing out it was their wedding anniversary and her husband hadn't shown up, and shot back, asking where her number one brother was and why he hadn't arrived yet. To her, seeing him was just as pointless. Only then did everyone realize the wedding had already begun. Why wasn't number one brother here? Amy immediately called him. John explained he was stuck in traffic but would arrive in about 10 minutes. He'd already sent someone to prepare a wedding gift for the couple. After hanging up, the waiter brought out the wedding gift John had prepared for Amy. When everyone saw it was a Maserati worth millions, they envied Amy for marrying such a great man, only and recognized it instantly. It was the exact car she bought just a month ago. Her husband had claimed it was in a rear-end collision and sent for repairs, but it was actually intended as Amy's wedding gift. What shocked and even more was discovering that the villa she'd recently purchased at Mingi Mansion had also been given to Amy as their marital home, and couldn't help but think John had taken her car and her house to marry another woman. Meanwhile, the unsuspecting Amy, eager to flaunt her wealth once more, boasted about the ring given to her by the top-ranked big brother, claiming it was a priceless treasure. Upon seeing it, she instantly recognized it as her wedding ring with John. The ring she thought had been discarded was actually given to another woman, and demanded the return of her ring. Though John was a scoundrel, she was determined to reclaim her ring. Seeing someone snatch her wedding ring, how could Amy possibly tolerate this? Amidst the struggle, the diamond on the ring accidentally fell to the ground. At that very moment, John arrived at the hotel entrance, impeccably dressed in a suit, eagerly preparing to marry his internet-famous young bride. Seeing her wedding ring and poster destroyed, Amy flew into a rage and raised her hand to discipline the disruptive Annie. But Annie wasn't one to be pushed around either. She swiftly returned the favor with 2 hard slaps across Amy's face, eager to curry favor with the newly wealthy Amy. The others immediately restrained Annie. Amy then delivered a vicious slap in retaliation. Annie issued a dire warning. "If you lay a finger on me today, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Amy remained unfazed. Knowing her husband was the CEO of Annie Group, she ordered her henchmen to teach this arrogant Annie a lesson. As John slowly entered the hotel lobby, the deceived Amy officially entered her death countdown. When John joyfully opened the door and saw the scene, he demanded, "What are you doing?" Amy turned in shock to look at John. The moment John recognized the woman on the floor as his wife, he froze in terror.